Welcome back to the ride-along session here today on a breezy Vassiliki afternoon, where today I'm continuing some intermediate windsurf coaching, particular focus on how to get back upwind on a board that hasn't got a centerboard. A classic intermediate skill of medium power, not planing, but how do I stop myself just drifting off down the beach and having to do that stride of pride to get back up. Here we go. So a quick run through of the kit and the conditions to start with. I'm on a 133 litre Carve from Starboard, a classic free ride, and a nice stable intermediate to advanced style board, and a 5.9 Spy from 0.7, a free wave crossover sail, really nice for high wind, stability, bump and jump, and intermediates as we progress, like I'm talking through just now. Now to start with then, a couple of technique points just while I'm sailing upwind as we begin here. Although I am looking at the camera for you guys, I'm most definitely looking up towards the wind, searching for gusts, searching for lulls, looking at the waves and seeing what's changing. And what I mean by searching for the gusts and lull is I'm reading the surface of the water, looking for changes, looking for tighter ripples or darker patches coming towards me, or possibly even for looking for other people that might have been just hit by a gust, another sail, possibly a dinghy sail even if there's something else around that's been hit by a gust, or people dropping off to windward of me. That's my starting point for a lot of things, as you'll know if you've stuck with the channel for a while, using that vision to spot the wind. For upwind sailing, some tactics start to come in quite nicely too though. Now, when we look at our points of sail diagram, the one that we maybe used when we're learning as beginners and possibly see knocking around the place, it shows a 45-degree no-go zone. That's 90 degrees total, 45 either side of the direct wind that we can't sail. The thing with it is, to sail that close to the wind is very difficult, to the point pretty much impossible. So I'd like to change the tactics and not try and sail 45 degrees close to the wind, but try and make that no-go zone much, much bigger. In fact, only just higher than a beam. A beam reach is directly across the wind. I'm picking a new goal point ever so slightly, like 10 to 15 degrees above a beam, and that's where I'm trying to head towards. So many different things can affect how big that no-go zone is. Your fin length, the board, the sail size, the wind strength, and of course skill, that it can help to try and follow someone else upwind. If you see someone really good tracking upwind ahead of you, follow on from them. But actually just make the no-go zone a bit bigger, work out where the wind is coming from using our ears. So now I can feel the wind or hear the wind in both ears. My goal point across the wind is only slightly above that beam. Now I mentioned vision to help us maintain our sailing line. The next little technique point is our trim. Trim is about keeping the board flat from front to back. A flat board is a fast board, and that's the same going upwind. Front to back, I'm keeping the board flat. But if we have a little glance at my foot placement now, I'm definitely standing on the windward side of the board, trying to engage that windward rail. When you had a centerboard, you needed to keep the board flat in every direction, and I stood on the center line of the board. Now I have no centerboard. Sideways resistance or lateral resistance has gone, so I need to replace it. I need that resistance. So I've got my heel edge of the board, the windward side of the board, digging into the water. Our goal point is that tactical choice. Where am I actually aiming? But the other tactical choice that I like to do is to nibble and pinch your way as close to the wind as possible into the no-go zone, however big or small that may be, and then away from it once again. So throughout this entire video, I haven't just locked into one sailing position and stayed there. I've been adjusting and changing all the way along the way to help me try and go nearly straight. A good windsurfer won't go in a straight line. They'll be changing direction slightly depending on the wind and the waves. Just like if I was driving a car down a long straight motorway, my hands at 10 and 2 like I was taught, but there's still little adjustments that keep me going in that straightish direction and in the middle of the lanes. Just now, I'm going to start putting a bit of pressure on my back foot, steer upwind slightly, too close to the wind, front foot to help maintain that line and steer me off the wind slightly. See that again. A little bit of deliberate back foot pressure steers me slightly closer to the wind. A little bit too close. Front foot pressure again keeps that board flat and keeps me going a little further away. So I'm just on the edge of that no-go zone. Now this video is about 7 minutes long, I think, so far. And I've just made my way approximately 500 meters upwind of where I started. Those of you that know Vass will know I started below human sports and a bit further downwind towards club bass, and I finished back up to windward. In fact, I'm now super far to windward of the Cosmos Hotel and I'm almost in Ponte. I've gone a long way upwind just by nibbling and pinching like we just saw. Other fine little tips to help me sail upwind that I'm doing along the way here is, yes, I'm hooked in. That is helping me give my arms a little bit of a break, and the hands are working together on the boom with the harness taking most of the power and my hands there for control and guidance. I'm trying to keep the power on as much as I can. I'm definitely going to need that while sailing upwind, but actually occasionally I'll ease the sail out to help me steer slightly before I then put that power back on once again. So sure, I'm in a standard 7, my front arm through my hips, down through my front leg, that's the standard 7 shape. But matching my stance to my vision, my head, my shoulders, my hips, and my feet are all turned to look at least forwards, if not upwind. The idea is that you look where you want to go, which is usually up here somewhere. So instead of standing square like I am now, head, shoulders, hips, front foot, and even back foot a little bit, that's what's going to help that stance match your vision and help you sail upwind. That's a quick run through the fast forward formula, which is your ongoing checklist if you've joined me for sessions, or any of the RWA schools, of course, running through the RWA formula and checklist. But the key too for sailing upwind, vision. Look for the wind, using my ears to work out exactly where the wind is, and then select a goal point a few degrees above a beam reach. Spotting the gusts, spotting the lulls and the waves, and then trim, making sure that windward rail is engaged, keeping my ankles wettish to make the board flat from front to back, but slightly tipped to windward to head upwind. And then once you've made it upwind, you've had a nice time, you feel like things are going well, and maybe a gust comes towards you and hits you, you can then head off the wind ever so slightly and start to think about getting into those foot straps and onto the plane. Thanks as always for joining me here on the Ridealong channel, folks. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down at the bottom and join me on the Patreon account. The links are all in the description. I really appreciate all of those little questions and comments that are coming through. Keep me buzzed, keep me getting going, keep me filming more videos out here in Vass for you guys. I'll see you next time on a ride along. Okay.